Welcome, everybody. Sunday night, August 25th, NorCal Sports Network, Giants post-game show. And you're saying, if it's a Giants post-game show, what the heck you got that Seattle Mariners hat on for, dude? What's going on? I thought this was a Giants post-game show. Well, tradition here is at NorCal Sports Network. I got a hat collection. And kind of like to wear the winning hat. Thought, you know what? Beginning of the year, I thought, should I do it? What do we do when we can play the Dodgers? But you know what? It's the way it goes. You guys want to see this Giant hat a little bit more? Get a doggone good team and get rid of the guy that's running it. And I'm not talking so much Melvin. I'm talking Farhan. Yep. Asif, you got it. Let the Farhan bashing begin like usual. Dan, negative, Nilly again. Well, Asif, what's the alternative? What's the alternative? I know. Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. How do we sing? Kumbaya. Everybody, come on. Everybody, kumbaya. Let's have a little circle. He says, blame the players. Well, who's in charge of getting those players, Asif? Who's in charge of getting those players? You know, do I like bashing Farhan? I kind of do. I kind of do because I'm tired of it. He sucks. This is year 6. And the Giants are going to most likely have another losing season, which means Farhan will have one winning season in 6 years. That's 16.6%. Do you guys know how often the Giants won under Brian Sabian? 75% of the time they had a winning season. Come on, this is not, we're not the, the Kansas City market. This isn't, in today's game, this isn't the Pirates market, although they're building. This is a major market, guys, with a very, very rich ownership group that is raking in money hand over fist. And they can afford to do all kinds of things. Like, how about go out and recruit the best player development guys that are out there in the major leagues? How about getting people that understand the game? This guy has brought in more players on deals that he's shipped them out within a year or two. All the 3-year contracts he's ever given, nobody's lasted. Not one. Maybe Wilmer. But, Wilmer's doesn't look like the player he once was. He's been injured most of the year with a knee injury, and whether he comes back next year remains to be seen. I think he has the team option. I think he has a player option. My guess is if he's got a player option and he's had a pretty bad year, he's likely to opt in. I'll have to double check that, make sure it is a player option and not just, not a club option. I would think if it's a club option, that might be it. But I got to clean these glasses. Lou, you watched the ball game today. The Giants lost 4-3. They found another way to lose the game after being up 2-0. And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
And then Robbie Ray goes out with a hammy. Who knows how long that'll be? But they lose 4-3. We'll talk about the players of the game here in a moment. But give me your breakdown.
I thought today was the whole season in one game. All we've heard from everybody, we have the greatest pitching staff. These last 3 games has been pathetic. Snell couldn't get out last night past the 3rd. Here's a guy we traded for that everyone said the Giants got the best of the trade. He's really only had 2 decent starts. He couldn't even go 4 innings because he hurt himself. Who knows if he's going to pitch the rest of the season? Then the Giants get out 2-0 right away. Can't add on. They add on 1 run, and they wind up losing by a run. So that's been the whole season. Nothing new. And we warned everybody before they went on this road trip, when they lost to the White Sox on the Wednesday, Seattle has a new manager. They're going to play tough. They still have a chance to win the division. So what do? They take 2 out of 3, easily could have swept us. And then here's the other thing about the Giants. We talked about this last night. Beside another season, both teams in front of them lost. You had an opportunity to gain on both teams. Instead, you lose. Another game goes by. You know, whose fault is it? That's the Giants. And I think the other thing, why I'm a little bit upset at Farhan, the Giants this last month of the season had an opportunity late in the game. And what do? We bring up a rookie. Yeah, he hit a homer. So I guess we had nobody else want to give him a chance, and he had a great at bat. But then the biggest bat of the game, who do? Another scrub that Farhan picked up. You know, people don't realize at the trade deadline, we picked up nobody. We gave away a big bat. We got a scrub, and the only reason why he's with us because he's Melvin's buddy. I'm sick and tired of this. We have no bench. Our bench is so pathetic that literally Seattle must have looked and said, oh, my God, who are they going to bat? Oh, wait a minute. They have no lefties, so they're going to pick up a scrub. Guys, one of the things that made the Giants, when we won and when we went to the playoffs, we had a spark that could come off the bench. We don't have anybody. I mean, it's ridiculous. You know, and the other thing is our rookies are starting to get tired.
Yep.
Ramos is, he's not making great contact right now, but hey, he's allowed to be in slumps a little bit.
But he did have a good game though today. He blasted another homer.
A big homer. I agree. These guys are tired, and it takes a team to win. But I think the Giants are a team to win, but it takes a team to lose. And that's how they start. I
do think that Ramos looks pretty good. I
just think you got to remember how he spoiled us. That's all.
Yeah. Hey, if you guys heard me, I said he's not going to hit 308 or whatever he was hitting, 315. He's going to come down to 275 to 285 range. And I said, I think I'm doing this by memory. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong. Some of you guys were in the chat when I said it. I believe that Ramos hits anywhere 275, 285. And I think I said 23, 24 homers is what I think I said. And about 80, I think I said a little over 80 RBIs. He's now at 64 RBIs, I believe. So he's going to come pretty close to it. And he is, I like Ramos and I like Fitzgerald. He's young. He's a rookie. But let's take a look at the scores today. You mentioned the 2 teams ahead of the Giants. We see the top score right there. The Nationals beat the Braves 5-1. So the Braves got their 60th loss. But that doesn't matter because you lost 2 today. So you have 66. So you're still 7 games that you have to have the Braves lose. Because remember, if they tie with identical records, the tiebreaker goes to Atlanta. So the Braves, in essence, have to lose 7 more games than the Giants lose. So if the Giants play, they've got 30 games left, Lou. 30 games. If they go 20-10, which is almost impossible with this team, but let's just play this game out. 20-10. The Braves have 32 games remaining. Giants go 20-10. They finish 86 and 76.
Yeah, they got to go
20 and 10.
13 and 19.
20 and 10. The Braves only have to go 500. 16 wins would give them 86. 16 and 16 in their remaining 32. Braves play 500. Giants have to play 666 ball.
20 and 10.
20 and 10. They got to win 2/3 of their game. That means, think of it this way. They have to win. They probably have 10 series left, if I'm not mistaken, right? 30 games, all 3-game series, correct? Let me look.
Makes sense.
Let me look. I don't think there's any more 4-game series on the schedule. I've got the schedule on my phone right here. Okay. They've got Milwaukee for 3, Miami for 3, Arizona for 3, San Diego for 3, Milwaukee for 3, San Diego for 3, Baltimore 3, KC 3, Arizona 3, St. Louis 3. 10 series left, 30 games. They have to win, theoretically, to go 20 and 30, they need to win 2 of 3 of every series. They need to win all 10 series. All 10. Or if they lose 1 or 2 series, they've got to sweep the others. Okay? If they lost 2 series, let's say they won 8 and 2. But the 2 of those series, to win 20 games, they'd have to sweep. Let's say they win 8 series, 2-1. Well, let me take that back. Let's say they win 6 series, 2-1, but they lose 2 series of 2-1. The other 2 series, they would have to sweep to make up for it. Because 6 times 2 is 12. And if they won 1 in the others, that's 14. One and 1, 14. The other 2 series, they'd have to sweep 3 and 3 to get to 20. I don't see this. That's why I put a fork in the other night. Diamondbacks, 7-5 over the Red Sox. The Diamondbacks keep winning despite giving up 4, 5, 6 runs a game. Pirates beat the Reds. Those 2 are kind of battling for the bottom of the National League Central, 63 and 68. Let me take a look at the board. Yep, we got the Pirates still behind them. Yankees back to back today, guys. It started with Soto, then Judge, and then Giancarlo Stanton. 3 boppers. Angels, Blue Jays. Blue Jays win 8-2. Both those teams are finished. Cubs lose, had a chance to actually overtake the Giants. The World Series champion Rangers have this seems like to be Bochy's career, doesn't it? Win a World Series, next year, don't make the playoffs. If he comes back and wins the World Series next year, I think the guy's crazy. That'd be nuts. Tigers beat look at that, Lou. White Sox, 100 losses. The Tigers swept the White Sox, something the Giants couldn't do.
And that was on the road.
Yep. The White Sox are 31 and 100, folks. My goodness. That means they're 18 and 47, Lou. That means they've won 13 on the road.
Including one at our place.
13 and 53 on the road. Oh, my goodness. This might be the worst team in modern day history. They are only 20 games away from tying the 62 Mets and 21 from having the worst record in the modern day era. Phillies crush the Royals 11-3. Cardinals come from behind with 2 in the 9th to defeat the Twins 3-2. 2 unearned runs in the 9th inning, an error. A's, look at that. A's, they've improved. I'd rather watch the A's play than the Giants. They're more entertaining, Lou. At least they have some guys that, Giants have a couple of guys that are entertaining. Let's face it. I like watching Ramos. I like watching Fitzgerald, and I'm enjoying this kid McRae. He is a kid, and he's got really amazing talents. Does he put it together? Time will find out. But I'm glad they're giving him an everyday chance. Just leave him out there. Who cares if you ought to be doing the same with Luciano. But anyway, Padres win.
They were down 2-0 and had 1 hit going to the 8th inning. They have what the Giants used to have. That place was rocking again.
Oh, my goodness, Lou. You know what? this Jackson Merrill kid, this guy,
he will be the rookie of the year.
I think so too. He hit another walk-off homer. This is, you know what? I think, let me see if we can play this. Let me see. Hold on here.
And where'd they get him from again?
They drafted him. I think he's a rookie.
They got him in a trade as a throw-in. They were talking about a major league.
I'm not sure. You know what?
It's what happens when you trade good guys. You got a chance.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Look at that. Walk-off homer. Look at the place. Oh, that was off Diaz.
Again.
Wow, that hurts the Mets, man. That could put the Mets. That could be the one game that if they lose out by a game. Look at that. Look at that place. I love that ballpark.
And remember, the Giants have to go there.
Yes. Wow. Look at that. It wasn't even a full house today, surprisingly.
And he's only a rookie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's going to be your rookie of the year. Wow.
Amazing. Okay.
So that's your out-of-town scoreboard. Oh, tonight's game. I forgot to look. Let me go back to it.
Houston was up late.
Let me pull that up. Houston
and Baltimore. I saw 5-3 in like the 8th.
Let's see what it is here. It has gone final. Houston won 6-3. Houston won 6-3. So what we should do is take a quick peek at the standings here, and we'll do that.
Again, I just want to tell Jason L., we did not get swept. We won yesterday. So I just want to make sure we didn't get swept by the Mariners. We lost the series 2-1.
Yeah. There's your standings right there.
And I do know by the time the Giants play on Tuesday night, they might have 4 teams for the last wild card spot in front of them.
Yeah, because you'll have some games tomorrow night. We'll have to take a look at that. Okay, National League here. Central's done. Pretty much the East is done. Could be an interesting race in the National League West. Diamondbacks are hanging in there, and the Padres could still get going again too.
Yeah, Arizona, LA goes to Arizona. How crazy would that be this week for 3?
That's right. That is correct. So we got the D-backs. Here's the wild card standings in the National League. Diamondbacks. Whoops. Come back to me here, baby. Here we go. Okay, Diamondbacks 4.5 up.
See what I mean? When the Cardinals are tied with us and the Cubs, who you keep saying, by the time we play, could be ahead of us.
Right. We've got the Mets. That's a tough loss today. They could have gained a game on the Braves. And you see, what I want to focus on, we did this recently, 60 losses right there for the Braves and 66 for the Giants. And look at the Giants' road record, 28-38, and they've got 30 games remaining, everybody. And they've got 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 on the road, 15 at home. So you're going to have to, even if they win 5-10 say they win 5-10 on the road, they'd have to go to make up for that. They'd have to go like 15-0.
Yeah.
They'd have to go 15-0. Yeah. I mean, this is tough. You got Milwaukee. Really, Milwaukee's the 3rd best record and fighting for the 1st or 2nd best record in the National League with the Dodgers and Phillies. You got them Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I think doesn't Webb go Tuesday?
Harrison.
Oh, Harrison. That's right. Harrison and then Webb.
And the one thing about Milwaukee, that ballpark, if Harrison doesn't have good control, he might give up 5 homers. That place is a launching pad.
Yeah.
You know?
So to me, I told you guys at the All-Star break, watch out for the Cubs. I think they passed the Giants, and I still believe that. I think they're a better team. Their run differential is plus 18. Giants are minus 12. I think the Cardinals, I don't know. Cardinals, they're shaky. They got some veterans, though, that could come through, but who knows? But I think the Cubs pass the Giants. Wouldn't shock me to see the Reds pass them, too.
But, and then, Dan, did you hear how bad the groin injury to Ray was? Because, I mean, he must have heard something pop when he called him out.
Was it a groin or hamstring?
Oh, I'm not sure. Did it say anything in the transactions?
Let me take a look here.
Let me see for a second. Let me leave the studio. Let me get my phone.
I can look right here. See what Baggerly says here. He was there in the clubhouse. It's a hamstring. It's a hamstring. And let me see what. Hold on here. So it looks to me like it's a couple starts. It's a hamstring, and it's probably at least 2 starts. So it'll be an IL stint, because IL's 2 starts, that's 10, 11 days. They're probably just they need arms, so they'll stick them on the 15 days.
I think it's sort of ironic that he got injured when they gave Harrison the extra day, being young, but not the guy that came up Tommy John surgery. They moved him up. It's almost like they deserve it.
Interesting. Yeah. So, but Ramos was a star today. Ramos with 20 homers now, 62 RBIs, I believe.
And 6 weeks less than everybody else.
Right. Yeah. So let me hold on here. I'm going to pull this up. I'll just bring it right up here. The box score. Okay, here's today's box score if we take a look at it. Ramos 2 for 4, 2 RBIs, hitting 284, 341 on base percentage, a slugging percentage of 504. Rough day again for Chapman, Conforto. Yastrzemski 1 for 4. Estrada, another rough day, 0 for 4. McRae 2 for 3.
That was a nice homer. Nice, easy swing.
Yeah, they said he's really improved his swing. 2 years ago, you would be shocked to see him here, because he's really worked on. The coaches give credit to the Giants instructors down there and helping him get up here. And the key is, can he keep it up? I mean, we've seen a lot of young guys. We saw Casey Schmidt do it last year. We saw other guys come up when they first start seeing the pitchers don't know where their weaknesses are, so they just kind of groove it a lot. That was a groove, that pitch today, right? Center cut.
Yep.
And right about at the belt.
He made him pay.
Yeah, just easy, just boom. But yeah, so the box score, we see there.
And a walk and a huge strikeout to end the game.
Fitzgerald is starting to struggle at times. I mean, he's still hitting 298, but hey, anything over 260, 265 for Fitzgerald and what he's shown is a plus. I mean, I've always liked Fitzgerald since I saw him last year. I liked his athleticism. The Giants have some potential guys, but they're not stars, Lou.
I think that's the key. They're more fill-in players.
Yeah, they're guys that are going to serve you well on a fairly daily basis, but they're not stars. They're not guys that, Ramos has the potential to be a real star. I'll say that. He is a guy that has a lot of potential. This guy is only 24, and he has the ability to get better and better because he's strong. He is tough. He is very, very solid. I love his just his athleticism, the look. He's chiseled. He's a guy that is powerful, and we've seen some of the most powerful home runs from Elliot Ramos. I mean,
that was a shot today in the early.
Yeah, and the one he hit last night was even better in the upper deck. It just got out, boom, and it hit so hard it bounced all the way to the back of the upper deck. Some little girl got the ball, bounced right, ricocheted, and all the way to the very back of the upper deck. So, see, we got some chat in here. Let's see. Elliot Ramos is the youngest San Francisco Giants player with 20 homers in a season. Pablo Sandoval hit 23 in 2011. Yes, that is correct. Thank you for that reminder, Mike. Matthew says, can we get rid of Farhan before next offseason? That would be the biggest addition by subtraction this team could ever make. 100% agree, Matthew. Could not agree more. We got a super chat here from By Victor, $2. He says, Giants go 22-8 and Braves go 16-16. Giants make it.
No, we would tie.
No, they would win.
Oh, because that. Okay, well, let me just say something, Dan. Here's our schedule. 3 at Milwaukee. Then we come home from Miami. And then 3 at home against Arizona. Then we go to San Diego. Then we come home from Milwaukee and San Diego. Then we go to Baltimore, Kansas City, and Arizona. I mean, that 9 games, they'll probably already be out of it before then. I mean, that is a tough schedule. East Coast, Baltimore, Kansas City, and then you come back to the West Coast for Arizona.
Yeah, I'm predicting
22-8. Come on.
I'm predicting that their final kiss of death, where they're mathematically eliminated.
That's the contest we should have. What game will the Giants be eliminated from the playoffs?
I'm going to say
you've been saying right around the 15th.
I think I'm going to push it back. I think it happens in Kansas City, where they're officially eliminated. 1, 2, 3, 6. There's 9 games left when they get to Kansas City.
So 21 more games they'll play for, and then they start getting their tee times.
Yeah, I think they get eliminated in Kansas City either on Saturday the 21st or Sunday the 22nd. If it doesn't happen there, it definitely happens in Arizona. They do not get back to Oracle against St. Louis.
No. I think it's going to be before.
You think it's going to be in Baltimore?
I think before they go to Baltimore, probably the Brewers or the Padres at home.
Well,
second week of the season, second week of football.
Yeah, Arizona and San Diego could really finish them off, but it all depends on what Atlanta's doing. If Atlanta plays,
let's see.
Atlanta has 32 left. If they go 18, if they just play 2 over 500, if they go 17-15, Giants are done. I mean, I think they're done anyway. I don't see how they can get there. I really don't.
We haven't won more than 4 games all year. How do you guys think we're playing against winning teams and teams that need the win, that we're going to all of a sudden win when, 22-8? That's impossible.
By Victor, if you are right, Giants go 22-8, and I don't even care what the Braves do. If they go 22-8 and get into the playoffs, we will figure out something special for you. Whether that's a some
the one
kind
thing
of.
I keep bringing up, Dan, is they do got a tough schedule, but they still have 3 games at home against Colorado. We
Who
don't
does?
have that. Atlanta does.
Really?
Yeah, they still have. I keep trying to tell you guys, we don't have Colorado anymore. Everyone we're chasing does.
Does Atlanta have Miami? Because they're in their division.
They do. Here, I'll tell you Atlanta's thing. So they go on the road for 3 at Minnesota. Then they go 4 to Philly. Philly hasn't been playing that well.
That's 7 tough games, though.
I agree. Then they're home for Colorado. Home for Toronto.
That's not, yeah. Oh, boy.
Then they go to Washington for 2. Then they're home for the Dodgers. Then they go to Miami, go to Cincinnati. Then they're home for the last 6 games of the season against the Mets and Kansas City.
That sounds like a pretty close to 500 schedule to me.
And you got to remember, some of these teams might clinch. When they play the Mets might be eliminated. You just don't know.
That to me smells like the Braves are going to go about 16-16 and finish 86-76. I mean, you got, say that again, 7 games, 3 in Minnesota, 4 in Philly.
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to say they go 3-4.
Okay. Then 3 at home against Colorado.
2, if not a sweep. I'll book it for 2. So
3
that's
at home against
hold
Toronto.
on. That's 3-4. Okay, wait. 3-4 on the road, 2-1. So they're 5-5. Okay.
3 at home against Toronto.
2 out of 3. They're 7-6.
Then they go to Washington for 2.
7-6. Easy split. 8-7.
Then they're home for the Dodgers.
How many?
4.
Split. That's so they're 8-7, 10-9.
Then they go on the road to Cincinnati
For 3.
for 3.
They'll win 2 of 3. What did they say? They're 10-9, 12 and
12 and 10.
12 and 10.
Then they go to Miami for 3.
They'll win 2 of 3. They're 14-11.
Then they're at home to end the season. The Mets for 3, Kansas City for 3.
They'll split
They
all
go 500 there.
They'll go 500. That's
17 and 13.
17 and 14. Or wait, 17 and 15. Somehow I missed a game.
That's all right.
17 and 15. This is just about where I had them. Yeah. I think they're, let's say we miss a game and they lose 3 or 4 to the Dodgers or they lose 2 or 3 in Cincinnati. 500. They're going to finish 500, the Braves. With the rest of the season, they're going to go 86-76. That means the Giants.
We got to go 22 and 8.
Giants have to win 80. No, they're 60. What are the Giants? 66 and 66. So they have to win 21 and 9 to get to 87.
Sorry.
21 and 9, fellas, everybody. 21 and 9, and that's just if the Braves go 500.
And that also doesn't include the Mets.
Correct. We don't know what the Mets are going to do. Yeah.
It's tough, guys.
I mean, anything can happen. It is baseball. Things happen. Injuries happen. We're not saying that it's, obviously it's not mathematically impossible, but we're just trying to give you a little bit.
But also, we got to be realistic.
Realistic.
We just lost, our number 3 pitcher. Okay, we lost Ray.
And you lost Bailey. You lost Patrick Bailey maybe for the year. Guys, this is tough. This is what happens when you overplay some of the guys. I think Bailey was overplayed and was feeling the pressure.
And we're not sure about Hicks.
Well, Hicks was back, but he's not the same. He's not throwing 100 anymore.
No, but remember he warmed up and he
Yeah, he pitched yesterday though.
Oh, I thought okay.
He came back. So he's back. It was just some kind of side ache or whatever. But he's not Jordan Hicks. that he was in the beginning of the season. He's throwing about 95. A lot of people say we're negative. Robert Brown, a member here. Giants are done. This team has done nothing to give us hope. Exactly. Mike says it's a long shot, but then he says, kiss the season goodbye. Bailey will be back soon. He's not out for the season, says George. Okay. Bailey, when he comes back, though, no guarantee that he's first of all.
Remember, he was suffering to begin with.
Yeah, and now he's dealing with an oblique, a strain of the oblique. Those things are
would that
hard
affect
to get rid
him
of.
if he's batting right-handed or left-handed? We don't know.
Yeah. Who the hell thinks this team could go 22-8? Vince Russo? I don't even think Vince believes it now. Let me see. I'm just going through the chat here. Looking. Giants season ended after the Rockies series out of the break. Thinking we had a shot after that was completely delusional, Griffin says. Mike O says, shut it down. He says, I was right about this team from the beginning of the season. Well, sometimes you get them right. I just took an educated, I don't want to say guess. It wasn't a guess. It was an educated assessment of what I saw.
From experience from the last 5 years under Farhan. You knew
Well, it's not only that, it's been watching baseball for 56 years and being a homer at one point in my life, where I looked at the Giants unrealistically because I always thought, I watched him in the mid-70s with Montefusco and Ed Halicki and, all the different guys that were coming up. And I was like, this is the greatest team. We're going to win it, third or fourth place. We couldn't compete with the really good teams. But
no, we were always lucky just to be 500 before
right.
baby.
But because I was younger in my teens at that time, I just believed that they would be able to pull it out. And then when you get a little older, you start looking at things a little more objectively. Plus, guys, having this channel, I don't want to come on here and talk in a way where I sound like, I don't want to come out here and be a homer like Fleming and Pence. And, believe me, I love Dave Fleming. He's a great guy. And he's a very nice guy. He's super talented. And he was gracious enough to give me a plug. But I have to be true, to myself and speak. I can't handle the homerism, the calls, and him and Pence complaining about call after call after call. Just, just it happens.
Just announce the game.
Yeah. And to make excuses Pence, he's super positive guy, but he's they're just so.
He's a little out there.
Yeah, they're just too much with the Giants of and I don't know if it's because the fan base demands that. Does the average Giants fan that watches, are they not educated enough? I really think Giants fans, not the real true blue Giants fans that were out there at the stick, okay?
And as I said, there's only about 12,000 real true Giants fans. Not guys that got on the bandwagon, not people that keep saying, oh, we're close. Some people, I'm so sick and tired. Guys, we've only been to the playoffs twice since our last World Series. It's been 10 years. Also, you guys are missing the point. What other thing Dan brings up with the old regime, with some of the GMs that we like, there was no third wild card. We have not made it unless we won the division as a third wild card. We haven't made it as a second wild card. Okay, so guys, things have changed. It's gotten easier to make the playoffs, and we still have not succeeded, even though we spent the sixth most amount of money. That's a problem.
Correct. And Lou, what I want to, point out here with this whole thing with when I talk about how I pick a team, I do stick my neck out there when I have received a ton of criticism.
Oh, I've seen you on X.
Oh, I've taken shots, but you know what? I am going to speak my mind and say what I believe, and I don't care if I'm the only one saying it. This team from the beginning was not structured correctly, and Farhan does not have the vision. He doesn't have a plan, it appears. He doesn't know how to form a roster. The game has changed. It is a game built on speed now. Hence, you look at the Mariners. How many bases did they steal today? 5, 6?
That's the other problem.
I mean,
right on.
They made the bags bigger, people. Farhan, hey, guess what?
Make it easier.
The bags are a little bigger. You only get 2 attempts or 2, what do they call them, engagements.
Yep.
Over to first base. Stepping off the mound and not even throwing over is 1 engagement. But throwing over there twice, what do? They just take right off. And what do the Giants do? The Saturday game, first game all year, I saw the Giants play aggressively and start running the bases, pulled a double steal off. I think they stole 4 bases. Fitzgerald, didn't he have 3 yesterday? And McRae had 1.
Yeah, we even had a double steal.
Yeah, the double steal. Remember. It was beautiful. They had bunts. It was like, where's this been all year?
Yep.
You know what? When you have a crappy hitting team and you can't bring runners across the plate with runners in scoring position, you got to do something different. You got to steal bases. You got to attempt stealing third. Maybe you get in on a ground ball or a sacrifice fly, and it doesn't require a base hit because you certainly can't hit. Your batting average is like 195 since the All-Star break with runners in scoring position, 29th in baseball. This team has a propensity to sink to the bottom of every major statistic that is on the positive note. They seem to sink to the middle or the bottom. The only thing they're at the top is in like base on balls. They walk a lot of guys. How many guys did they walk in this series? Over 20.
Yeah, it's
17 the first 2 games. And Seattle's just as bad as them. They couldn't score.
No, Dan, today on MLB Network, they had the post-game show, and they had a phrase today that you will love. They showed the Cincinnati Reds game, and the Reds had runners at first and third with no outs. So what do? They did sort of a safety squeeze sacrifice bunt. And the announcer said, bunts lead to chaos.
Yes. Yes,
bunts
Lou.
Lead to chaos. What happened? The guy got the ball, wasn't sure where to look, did it. He winded up throwing the ball away. It was unbelievable. And I go, oh my God, this has the Giants written all over it. If they would only take advice. We can't even put the ball in play to get chaos going. But just a simple bunt. And all they did was bunt it between third base, so the pitcher had to pick it up. There's a chance he might overthrow second. He might overthrow third. People forget. And what was it? 2010, I think it was 2012 playoffs. We won game 2 on a bunt.
Yeah.
By Blanco, and he overthrew the first baseman. I think it was against the Cardinals, game 1 or game 2. That's the way we won it. Put the pressure on the defense. I just thought that was a great phrase because something that Giants just don't do. And this isn't the first year the Giants have had this problem, guys. If you've been listening to NorCal Sports Network, we bring up this stuff.
Yes.
You know? And look at Philip today. Little League World Series was won.
I'm getting ready to pull that up, Lou.
Yep.
You read my mind. I am trying to pull this up, but are you able to pull up your Twitter? For some reason, it will not let me log in on my computer. For some reason, I used my username. And
by the way, Rob, this came up 2 hours ago. Robbie Ray's to undergo an MRI tomorrow. It looks like 10 to maybe 14 games, definitely DL. So when Farhan said, and Robert Rothschild, that we have the best pitching staff in the majors, I'm just making sure you know that. I guess you guys forgot about injuries, hamstring pulls, all this, because last year, I don't forget, we must have had 18 guys, Yastrzemski at least 3 times, all hamstring pulls. I mean, it's just amazing.
Yeah, I don't know why my username, it does not work. It just does not work. So I'm going to have to call Twitter. I get it on my phone, but I cannot get it on my computer. So check this out, Lou. I'll show it to you on my phone. Here is today's Little League World Series, the way it ended. Bottom of the 8th, a 1-1 game between Florida, representing the United States champion, playing against Taiwan, the international champion. And here's what happened. Oops, hold on.
You got it sideways.
Hold on here. I don't know maybe I'll turn the volume off here so I don't. Okay. There it is. Here he is. Look.
Yep.
Bunts it down the first. Nobody's covering first. Oh, the ball goes into right field. Here comes the runner around third. He scores the winning run. Okay, we're going to play this one more time. I wish I could show this to you on my screen.
And see, they bunted it to the pitcher.
No,
He's a pitcher for a reason.
Look, there it is, Lou. Look, the bunt right down the first base line. First baseman comes in, pitcher grabs it.
There is no first baseman.
Okay, let me give you guys a little education on this, because a lot of people are saying, why is the pitcher throwing that? You know who should have been covering first, everybody? Who should have been covering first? If you guys played ball, you would know. Who played first? Or the second baseman.
Second baseman should have covered.
The second baseman ran to second base. This is the kid's only 12. Who I would put the blame on this. Look, see the second baseman down there? He ran to second.
Yeah.
Throws it into right field. What I would do here is say the coach of the Taiwanese. What's really sad is seeing the kids cry. I mean, these poor kids, they're 12 years old and they're crushed. And it was neat to see one of the coaches of the U.S. consoling one of the kids from Taiwan here. They are devastated. This is right there.
A tough way to lose.
Man. And there's the pitcher that threw the ball down the right field line. There's a player from Florida.
And I agree. They get caught up in the moment. You know, you got to remember there was no reason for him to actually cover second because the lead runner was ahead of him.
Exactly. The lead runner was on second. There was nobody on first. So the bunt play, you're taught this all the time. I played second base for when I was in Little League on the All-Star team, and I was the second baseman. So, and if you look at his position, he's 15 to 18 feet off the second base bag. He's playing closer to up the middle. In that situation, you got to be cheating. You got to be playing in the hole between first and second, ready to get to first base to cover that. He's bunting all the way.
Yep.
There's your third baseman. If you look at the third baseman on this play, Lou, he's in deep or in close on the grass. The first baseman's charging. The pitcher. It was a miscommunication, but this is the play, especially in Little League, because it's only 60 feet. You got to have that second baseman cover because first baseman's charging. There's not enough time really for the pitcher to get over and cover the bag. So it was.
That's an example of chaos. You got three people. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? You know, that's the one thing about the Giants with the Ghost Runner, we've only tried to bunt once, and it was a disaster. So that really goes back to just coaching.
It goes back to
Dan. On Friday night, when you were doing the Larry Krug show, I brought up a situation which I haven't really seen because it's a lot different now where pitchers don't hit. But Roger Craig pinch hit Big Daddy 17 times in 1 year. Rick Russell. Why? Because he was the best bunter.
Yeah,
he didn't care that everybody knew in the ballpark that they were going to bunt. He did the job right. And I think, there's two things that get me really frustrated. And it really goes back to basics. One is how these pro players can't bunt. My God, you had everybody bunted from T-ball all the way up. You learn.
How about the kid last, Victor Robles? He got hit in the hand.
Yeah.
I mean,
you guys got to know what you're doing. The other thing is, and this is something that the Giants are known for, especially someone like Chapman or Conforto, when the other team's pitcher has no control and he walks a guy and he maybe walks a second guy on 8 pitches, don't swing at the first pitch. It's the most amazing thing how it is. Wait for a strike when you're giving the pitcher an opportunity to get out of his bad rhythm. You know what I mean, Dan? Where, you'll see a guy walk 2 straight players, no control, and then the guy swings at a pitch a foot outside. Or like 2-0. The guy's walked 10 straight balls. Take a strike. He can't find his ball right now. I mean, I just don't understand it.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I watch these guys bunt. Now, I don't have a baseball bat in here for some reason. Oh, you know what I do have? Hold on. Maybe it's in here. I have a guitar, but I was looking for maybe my...
yeah, I was always told, Dan, let the ball dent the bat. This way it goes directly down.
Yes. I don't have I was going to look at broom. But if you take this as a bat right here, okay, and well, this isn't pretty good.
Maybe a tennis racket might be easier since
I don't even have. Okay, so here's a good. I mean, you want to you don't slide your hand all the way up into the middle of the bat. You hold your hands down a little bit toward the and you tilt the bat a little bit and you pull it back. You don't lunge at the ball. People
and you bend your knees. You're already sacrificing. That's why it's called a sacrifice bunt. You're sacrificing an out.
It drives me nuts to watch these guys can't bunt.
No.
I mean, I wish I had a baseball bat in here because I got to go out and get a bat. That's what I need to get. But slide it up a little bit and turn, and then you don't put the bat square either. You have it a little tilted.
Yeah, you hold it at an angle so you can bring it up and down with your knees.
Right. And then you can adjust. And your knee, like you said, your knees are bent, so you can go up or down. And then you have the bat. You don't push at it. You pull it back.
You let the ball hit the bat.
Yeah,
you don't have the bat hit the ball.
Right. You just pull it back a little bit as it's about to hit, and then it deadens it where it drives me nuts. Bunting. Brett Butler was a great bunter.
Oh yeah.
And he used to bunt all the time, and everybody knew he was going to bunt, and yet he'd still bunt and get on.
Yep.
It's amazing. Mike says, Dan, play the guitar. That would probably take us from 183 in here down to about 18. Real quick. Yeah. Eddie K, you catch the ball with the bat when you catch the ball with the bat when bunting. Yeah, it's just like catching a baseball. A lot of times you let it come into the glove. You don't lunge at it.
Good point.
But it's just, it gets to me watching the lack of fundamentals
We talk about it, and you got to blame the coaching staff.
Yeah, and this poor kid today that was not covering first. Little League baseball, you're dealing with 12-year-old kids. And I know
a lot of pressure.
I know the Asian teams are highly skilled and trained.
Oh yeah.
They train. Fundamentals, they are some of the best.
But that's what caused the chaos. They weren't expecting it. They're usually the teams that would do that.
Right. I think they were expecting the bunt because the third baseman was already in, and the first, they were ready. But that's an area where the coach needs to go out and go to the mound.
Yep.
And say, okay, they're going to bunt here. I didn't watch the game, so I only saw the highlights. So maybe that did happen. But I'm assuming based on the way the play unfolded that the coach did not take a timeout and go out there and say, okay, here's the situation. They're going to bunt. Who's ever the kid's name at second base, you need to cover first base. You need to be ready to get to first base, whether it's, only if it's bunted straight down the third baseman can the first baseman then get back. But you got to be ready. If it goes down to the first base side, anything to the right side, you got to be over there. And the fact that they did not do that, it's just, you don't want to blame a 12-year-old, but it's tough. I feel bad for the 12-year-old.
And the pitcher, he just got the ball.
And the pitcher,
the first baseman wasn't.
Yeah. Mike says, Dan, take the hat off. You were supposed to support the Giants, win or lose. Well, let me tell you something, Mike, how I feel about that. The Giants, I've been a fan for 56 years. I've never been as disgusted as I am right now as a follower of the Giants than I have been the last 2 years. 22, I was like, okay, we'll give it a pass. Just based on 21 was such a great season. And even though they didn't trade Rodon at the 22 trade deadline, and I was upset, but when I saw the way it started to unfold and end, I was like, forget it. This team's going nowhere with this clown running it. And the last 2 years, I pretty much told you guys what is going to happen. And I am, do I want to see the Giants win? Yes. But I am telling you guys from everything I know about baseball, and I like to think that I know enough about baseball to have a solid, educated opinion. They will not win with Farhan as president of baseball operations because we know what he does. This isn't year 2, guys. This isn't like, okay, let's get used to this guy. He's trying to rebuild the club and he's trying to put together. This is year 6, people. Year 6. Mitchell and Ness says, Dan has evolved. I remember when Dan was on Larry in the beginning, Dan was a huge homer, constantly trying to fix the Giants, not hating Dan. I just remember yeah, I was in 22. That was the year. I predicted they would win. They won 107 games. And in the beginning of the Krug show, I predicted they'd win 90 games in 22. And they started out the season pretty good. But when I started seeing this, more and more of this, and then they won't make trades, and it's happened in 22, it happened in 23, it happened in 24, and the only trade we got in the offseason was Haniger and DeSclafani for Robbie Ray. And it was like, the dude's coming off Tommy John. He's not going to be available till after the All-Star break. So how exciting is that? And we've seen Robbie Ray. He looks great at times, and he looks awful at others. This is to be expected.
And Dan, what's his contract rate?
He's got $25 million. He's got 2 more years after this.
So if he doesn't play this year, he's made $25 million with two quality starts.
Yeah. And,
And he's on the next year. He's going to be with us for another $25 million. Where that money could have gone to someone like Snell.
Right. We've been calling it all year. When Eric was on here, he was saying, what are you guys expecting from Cobb and Ray? Don't expect anything from Cobb and Ray. And people in the chat, oh, we're going to have great second half. We got Cobb coming back and Ray. And both Eric and I were like, nah, don't put all your faith in these two guys. And look, by the way, Alex Cobb, check this out, Lou. He's with the Cleveland Guardians. Yep. He's on the IL with guess what? What he's on the IL for? You're not going to believe this.
No, don't tell me.
You're not going to believe this.
Not ammo.
No. Alex Cobb. Okay. Freddie Freeman with the Atlanta Braves is playing with a fractured finger right now.
Yeah.
Alex Cobb is on the IL with a fractured fingernail. A fingernail.
Again, why didn't we have Cobb early in the season?
I don't even. I think I could pitch, Lou, if I didn't even have a fingernail.
Again, we had
Suck it up, big boy.
He was coming off an injury. That's got Farhan written all over it. We get guys that are retreads or were good 8 years ago. Coming off of Tommy John.
How do you look? I'm squeezing the heck out of this ball.
Yeah.
See that? You can see my fingernails.
Yep.
They're getting a little when I squeeze them, you can see the blood under the nails kind of move there. Put a Band-Aid over it and throw the ball. It's a fingernail. It's not going to get worse.
At least he'll be in the playoffs.
I don't, I heard stories about Freddie Freeman. He does not let people on the Braves, when he was with the Braves, unless their injury was going to get worse by playing, he says you play. You play. And
you're making a lot of money.
You
got to show up.
Mike, it might not be that easy to, I'm making light of it. Yeah, I understand if you have a fractured fingernail, it's probably sore. But you're a big league pitcher. It's a pain tolerance thing. I don't think it's anything to do with affecting your pitch. I mean, like when I'm holding this ball right now, I'm barely even using my fingernails. I got to squeeze it. Now, I know you got to squeeze it with your curveball and all that, but I don't know. I just think of players today are so soft.
That's why chicks dig the long ball.
Oh, Lou, this is you know what? I want to get back to something here. I want to get back to Sabian and the Giants and Farhan. Okay. Well, before we do that, let's take a look at Major League MLB trade rumors, what they're saying about Robbie Ray. All right. 32-year-old will go for an MRI tomorrow, reports Susan Slusher. I call her Susan Slush.
Yeah.
I've heard Nick on our chat, but I haven't seen Nick for a while, but says constantly inebriated. Having never dealt with hamstring injuries in the past, he was unable to offer much insight into his timeline. Still expressed optimism that he wouldn't be out for too long. Okay, according to Baggerly, Ray described the injury as minor and they're all minor until they get checked out, right, Lou?
Yeah, I don't understand how you can say minor. He took himself out of the game. To me, that's a little bit more than minor.
They all say minor. Oh, I'll be back here shortly. The only one that I've seen come back who said they were going to come back was Jazz Chisholm recently. Thought he had a UCL issue and it was just a sprain and he came back in 10 days. But
he must have heard something or felt something pop. He literally just waved the coach in, and they took him out.
Yeah, well, you saw him grab his hamstring too.
Yeah.
While Ray himself said it's too early to know if he'll require a trip to the IL per Maria Gerardio of MLB.com, manager Bob Melvin implied that Ray could miss time even if the issue turns out to be mild. Those things, don't typically take a couple of days to heal. Melvin's being very realistic there. Exactly, Bob. Ray has made 7 starts for the Giants this year, coming off the injured list the end of July, including his outing this afternoon. He's pitched 30 2/3 innings with an ERA of 4.7 and a 3.52 Sierra. San Francisco is 4-3 in his starts. While he hasn't always looked his best, he will nonetheless be difficult for the Giants to replace. If Ray only needs to miss a single start, Melvin could get by relying on bulk relievers like Jelly and Bivens to cover. Jelly took over for Ray this afternoon and tossed 2 2/3. He has thrown at least 2 frames in 16 of his 45 appearances this year. His longest outing was 3 1/3 against the Braves early in the month. This is the part that concerns me the most. Meanwhile, if Ray winds up on the aisle, the Giants could recall rookie right-hander Mason Black. Ooh. He made 4 appearances, 3 starts for the big club back in May. Unfortunately for Black, his first MLB starts didn't exactly go according to plan. He also has a 4.59 ERA and a 5.21 FIP in 20 starts this year at AAA. Nonetheless, Black is a live arm on the 40. Tristan Beck is another option. Oh, that's right. He's coming back. So, who knows where that's going. But look, you need a lot of pitching, and the Giants, thought they had all this pitching, and they're falling short. But what I want to look at, Lou, is I want to get back to this Brian Sabian Farhan comparison. All right.
Sure.
Let's take a look at this. Hold on one second here.
A guy that wants to win against some GM who's safe, Mr. Safe.
All right. So what we're looking at, guys, right here is a list of the Giants' record. I want to go all the way back to 1883 with the New York Gothams, Lou. Okay. No. All right. Let's scroll to the time. I first became a fan in 1968, Lou. They were 88 and 74. I saw winning baseball for the first.
Back then, remember, it was only one division.
In 68, if you won the league, you went to the World Series. Boom. Yeah. And then 69, they went to the divisions. 6 teams in the West, 6 in the East.
Look at that. In 68, we finished second in the whole entire National League, and we missed by 9 games.
Right. Missed by 9 games and missed out on.
There was no wild card then.
Yeah. So look at the history of the Giants, guys. If you want to look at the history of this team, they came to San Francisco in 58. Winning season, 80, 58. Winning season, 59. Winning season, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71. How many years is in that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Guys, 14 consecutive winning seasons to start out San Francisco. When we talk about the Giants being a historic franchise, do you guys know what the Giants have been? And to have what we have now is awful, is absolutely awful. So let me go back to this and show you what we're looking at. Okay, so 69, Willie McCovey is the MVP. 65, Mays was the MVP. 67, Mike McCormick was the Cy Young. 62, they lost the World Series. Cepeda, Rookie of the Year in 58. McCovey, Rookie of the Year in 59. Guys, this is why the Giants are so historic. But I was 10 years old in 71. They won the first division title in my lifetime. 62, yes, I was 1 years old. Big deal. Okay. So 72, they fall on a rough year, 26 and a half games back. 73, Gary Matthews is rookie of the year, the Sarge, winning season. 74, not good. 75, one game under 500. They didn't play 162. John Montefusco, my childhood hero,
Number
my
26.
idol, rookie of the year, number 26. Yep. And he is rookie of the year. 76, losing season. This is the time I'm watching him pretty heavily.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 12 years old at 73. That was the year I played second base when, I was 12. And when I was talking about earlier about All-Stars. So I'm real familiar. I'm really tight in with baseball. It's like some of you guys out there who have young kids that are playing ball or travel ball. You know what I'm talking about. Your kids love baseball and they're into it. And you know what? You don't have to be but 8 or 10 years old to really understand the game. If you're around it enough, you can really pick it up. And so we move on to this list, Lou, and the 70s are pretty bleak.
I went there. I remember.
They have a good year in 78. 79, 80, rough. 81, we got a strike year. They actually broke the season into two halves. Giants were 27 and 32 in the first half and 29 and 23 in the second half.
And do you remember who had the best record in the National League in 81?
Expos.
And they didn't go to the playoffs.
Right.
Because it was split.
Yep. 82, Giants have a winning season.
Look at that.
That was a fun year. That was the year they came into the last 3 games against the Dodgers. That's the year Joe Morgan hit the home run off Terry Forster.
Knocked them out.
Yes. And the Braves ended up winning the division. All three teams.
Last week of the season, they were 1 game out.
Yes. And Friday night before the game, the Giants were 1 game out. And I think the Braves had the lead and they were tied with the Dodgers, right?
Yeah, or something like that.
Or 1 game behind the Dodgers, something like that. But had a chance. Exciting baseball. That was exciting. 83, 84, 85, 86, or 83, 84, 85, terrible. 86, well, actually 85, Will Clark is drafted. He makes his debut in 86, only spends a little time in 85 in the minors. 86 comes up, first game of his career. You remember, Lou?
First pitch he sees in the major league.
Home run off of none other than Nolan Ryan.
Yep.
87, they win the division. 88, a winning record. 89, World Series. All these 3 years under Humbaby, Roger Craig. 90, winning season.
Misery.
91, 92, rough years. And then it looks like they're going to Tampa. I'm giving you guys a little history lesson. Most of you guys know it. But 90 in the offseason, 92, they're so close to going to Tampa Bay. The LA Dodgers were instrumental in keeping the Giants in San Francisco. They did not want the Giants to leave, destroying the rivalry. Thought that's pretty good information to know. But 93, they signed Barry Bonds in December of, I think it was like December 6th or 7th, wasn't it? They signed Barry Bonds to an historic contract, 7 years, $43 million, and the rest is history. Bonds wins the MVP. We'll slide that over here. Barry Bonds MVP, Dusty Baker, Manager of the Year. Also in 89, Kevin Mitchell, MVP. 87, Roger Craig, Manager of the Year. And Frank Robinson, Manager of the Year in 82. So we move up here as we scroll up. 94 is a strike season. They go 55 and 60. They were only 3.5 out, but the season was canceled. 95, 6 rough years. So rough that the Giants actually move on from their general manager, Bob Quinn at the time, and they bring in Brian Sabian. Brian Sabian's first major move, he traded Jeff Kent to the Cleveland Indians.
No, Matt Williams.
Excuse me, for Jeff Kent. Trades Matt Williams, a star, a fan favorite. And the Bay Area erupts, calling him an idiot. And what does Brian Sabian say? He goes, I'm not an idiot. I know what I'm doing. I have a plan.
And Dan, you should tell the chat it was worse than when the Warriors traded Monte to Utah to get a big man. Remember
it was bad. People were thinking, "What
said,
are
you? Hold back. We have a plan."
Yeah. What are you doing?
It was worse.
People were going crazy because what are you doing? Jeff Kent's nobody. Matt Williams is a superstar. Matt Williams was, a fan favorite. It was like him and Bonds were unbelievable together. But they trade for Jeff Kent. They also trade for JT Snow that year. They make a couple other deals.
Ellis Burks, I think.
Yep. The Giants go from 23 games out to first place, a 24-game turnaround in 1 year. Now take a look at this, guys. This is the 98, 15 over 500. 99, 10 over 500. 2000, win the division. Jeff Kent, MVP. Dusty Baker, manager of the year. 2001, another winning season, but they don't even make the playoffs. They're finished 2 games back.
They
See,
lose
guys,
to the Mets.
The Giants would have made the playoffs every year, even in the 86, 76 under today. They would have finished the third wild card.
90, 95.
95 and 02, go to the World Series, lose in Game 7. Game 6, the historic
that was Dusty's fault.
Blunder there. Russ Ortiz, gives them the game ball. Dusty leaves. 03, they bring in Felipe Alou. He wins 100 games. They lose to the Marlins 3-1. JT Snow gets thrown out from as far as I am to Lou, and we're about how many miles apart, Lou? About 600-700 miles?
Yeah.
Right now. So they lose that, but they come back in 04, win 91. Bonds, MVP for the 4th straight year. He won it in 2001, 2, 3, and 4. 2005, 6, and 7, bleak, and 8. 4 straight years. The first 4 losing seasons under Brian Sabian, okay? And Ned Colletti leaves in 05 to go to the LA Dodgers. So Ned is there for the first 8 years along with Brian Sabian.
And then do you remember what they did? People don't realize how we got Bruce Bochy.
Yeah.
Bruce Bochy was actually managing the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, just like Melvin.
And we went in and actually made a trade. I think we traded draft picks and a player to be named later to get him. He wasn't a free agent. He was under contract.
Yeah.
Another ballsy move, except that doesn't really does that ever happen?
And then we get Tim Lincecum's Cy Young Award in 08 with a 72-90 record. He was dominant. 09, you start to see the improvement. 88 wins and 74 losses. 2010, Buster, Rookie of the Year, World Series championship, first time ever in San Francisco.
Yep.
2011, another winning season.
That's
2012.
the year Buster got injured.
Yep, he got injured, and that's the year they traded Zach Wheeler for Carlos Beltran. Didn't work out. Some people still want to hold that against. But you know what? I don't hold it against him because he was taking a risk. He was being bold in we've got a shot. We're world champions. We're still in this. And at the time, weren't they in first or right there?
They were 12 games up. But when you lose your best player, you just can't sit on your laurels.
Right. So they come back in 12. Buster wins MVP, and I think he won Comeback Player of the Year too.
Yeah.
And the Giants win their second World Series in 3 seasons. 13 was the 5th losing season for Brian Sabian. Okay. 14, another world championship. 15, another winning record. 16, a winning record lost in the playoffs to the Cubs.
Now,
but
Dan, 2016, if you see, we were 87 and 75.
Mm-hmm.
The second half of the season, I think we were 18 games below 500. We had the worst record, second overall in the National League, and we squeaked into the playoffs.
They were 56 and 33 at the All-Star break, something like that.
56 and 33.
Something like that, I recall.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, it was just a torrential. And that's the thing I keep trying to tell people. We've only, since 2015, our second half of the season. We talked about this when the second half of the season started and the trade deadline. The Giants have only, I think, had 2 out of 10 years with winning records in the second half of the season. Well, if you don't try to improve the team to make it better when you have a track record of a losing record in the second half of the season, it should be no surprise where we are at. Oh, you're muted.
Okay. Then we got 2017. Okay. So look, I don't know what year Bobby Evans took over, whether it was 15. I think it was 15 officially, right? Wasn't he named GM
right around there?
15. But look, Brian Sabian was still there. He was running the show. Sabes was still the guy. Okay. Sabian or Bobby Evans may have been the title. It wasn't until really around the 17 season where Sabes really just stepped away. So I'm going to call these Sabes years all the way up to 16. That's 20 seasons, 15 winning seasons, 5 losing seasons. And people say, well, let me make my point here. 2017, 18, 19, terrible years. 19, it's Farhan's first year. Okay, don't hold it against him. He's taking over a crappy team. The cupboard's empty. 2020, I don't hold it against him. 21, amazing season. He's got to get some credit because it was a magical year. But 22, 23, and now 24. And guys, what I'm going to tell you is that what I want to tell you guys is this, that I believe that you could bring back some people say it's too late to bring back Sabian and Coletti. But guys, they did it once. They had the downturn after 8 winning seasons from 97 through 04. They rebuilt it once. Everybody gets upset and says, well, look how bad they were in 17 and 18 and how bad the team was and the farm system stunk. Yes, because they played for winning seasons for so long that they got rid of the guys and they had to rebuild it. Why wouldn't you let them rebuild it again? They proved that they could do it in 08, 09 when they, 04 through 08 were losing seasons, but they were building it up. This happens all the time with teams.
I mean, Dan, look at the San Diego Padres. They traded their first, third, fourth, and 8th overall prospect trying to win the World Series against the Dodgers. They went for it. They gave away their prospects, right? They didn't win. He didn't re-sign. He's now with the New York Yankees, but they went for it. They had such a good farm system. They gave up 5 of their best 8 players, and now they're going to have Rookie of the Year this year. That's what's so important about the farm system. When you get the farm system, you have bullets to get a great player. Giants, you got to remember, guys, most people, when you got to make a big trade, you got to give up prospects. Giants don't have any prospects anybody wants. That's why we can't make these trades. It's just unbelievable. I'm just trying to bring up a point. Padres went for it. They're now back. Other teams have gone for it. I mean, look at Washington. Washington wasn't going anywhere. They gave away the best player after a World Series, and they're now ahead of us. Those guys are young. They have money to spend.
Oh, they got two really. They got three really good players.
Yeah.
They got James Woods, Dylan Cruz, who they just drafted, and C.J. Abrams, who they got in the San Diego trade.
Yeah.
Woods and Abrams are gonna. Abrams is already a borderline all-star. I think he made it this year, if I'm not mistaken, but he's a good player. And then James Woods is going to be electric. This kid, James Woods, look for this kid to be a
And then, Dan, you should explain what happens when you get these young studs with your payroll. You're not paying them anything.
Correct.
So you can go after a big free agent. It doesn't affect the team. That's the key to all this. Right. With us right now, you look, we spent what, $212 million this year. And look what we got. Our 5 most heavy paid guys. Snell, 1 year. Okay. He's had a great year, but he's only got 4 wins. Then you go Conforto. It's probably the second highest paid player on our team. Right. And then you go Kratman. When you go down, our top 5 aren't worth it. Lee went on the DL. So our 5 biggest payroll guys have not really given us anything. And that's the one thing about Farhan. He's the one responsible. Here's a checkbook, spend it. You're not giving us players that are going to produce.
Speaking of Kratman, what's he hitting now? Is he down to about 240-ish? He should be on his way back down. Let me look.
The usual. And you guys got to remember, when we go to Milwaukee, the starters are average, but their bullpen is better than ours. They're the best in the National League.
Oh, he's at 242. Okay,
242,
so he's at 242. I'm going to tell you that they're talking a 9-figure contract with him. I read something last night. Somebody misquoted it. I was reading it off, and I was like, "There's no way that he's."
Yeah, you saw 9. I saw 5.
Yeah, there's no way it was 9 years. Somebody wrote 9 year, but they meant to say, they should have said 9 figures. They quoted 9 years. I'm like, there's no way the Giants are signing Chapman for 9 years. But if they go 5 years and they're looking at, what are they looking at? 25 a year for 5. That's one. What is that? 125?
Yeah.
Is that what they're looking at for him?
Yeah, 5 years, 125, 25 a year.
Is that what the numbers are being talked about?
Yeah. For a guy that can't hit, especially in the clutch.
I know people love Matt Chapman. Look, I get it. He's the best you have in terms of a veteran. But he's not.
And he's older.
He's 31. He's going to be 30. Did we say he's going to
April?
32 in April, right?
The opening day.
Look, he has never had more than 91 RBIs in a season. He generally is around 70 to 80. He doesn't produce with runners in scoring position. I'm getting tired thinking about 5 years of Matt Chapman because he strikes out too much in key situations. And look, you fill this roster up with
mediocre.
Yeah, but if you fill it up with somebody like Guerrero and at first base, and then you give a I don't know, who's another star player that might be available. You bring Hassan Kim in at second, and then you bring in you make a trade. Heck, maybe you could trade for Fernando Tatis. Padres are winning without him. Maybe they're realizing
they want to get a guy that can play all over the place.
Maybe they want to get rid of that contract. And then, I don't know. Then I'm okay with Chapman. But
not the star player.
He cannot carry this team. He cannot be the guy. You don't know. I mean, I believe in Ramos. But Ramos, we don't know. Look at Corbin Carroll last year. He was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And this year, the guy's hitting around 215.
Yeah.
So,
second time around the league, it happens.
Yeah. Hunter Pence was bragging about Chapman's great numbers today. I mean, come on.
Because the WAR is overrated.
The WAR does not count for situational hitting.
No.
Okay. So Chapman could come up with bases loaded and strike out, and his WAR could go up if he plays a great defensive game. It happened the other day against Chicago. He made that great play I played on here. You guys remember the play I showed it to you? Look, I got it right here. Here's the tale of Chapman right here. This is the game with second and third after he got to there was a leadoff double and then another double off the wall from Ramos that just missed going out. He comes up second and third. Here's what he does. And then right after that, he makes he did it the top half of the inning. He made a great play. Here's Chapman.
Wraps this one fair. Chapman, look at this play.
Go! Oops. I mean, there's a tale of two Matt Chapmans right there. Great defensive guy.
WAR goes up. Strikeout, the high fastball all year.
All year. Look, I got some numbers of Matt Chapman right here. Hold on here. I got to find I think I missed the super chat when I was doing the
And I'll just say something while you're looking at that, Dan. Hey, Mitchell and Ness, I completely agree. Cueto would have won Game 5, which would have been at SBC Park, I think it was called then. I can't remember. We changed the name so much. But that was the year where the Giants blew 18 games. They didn't have a closer. In fact, in Game 4, if you remember, the Game 5 would have been in Chicago, but Game 4, the Giants led going in. It was either the top of the 8th or the top of the 9th, and they gave up 6 straight hits.
Yep, the 9th inning.
Pitchers.
Yeah, they were going to win the game.
Yeah,
and they were going to go to Chicago with Johnny Cueto to pitch
and we couldn't
Game 5.
get anybody out. It was just like a steamroll.
Yeah,
I was there.
By Victor donates another $2. We need to boycott the Giants to get them to bend. This is what I said on Twitter today. Good job by Victor. Great point. This is exactly what I said on Twitter today. Mike says, Dan, you're not excited about the future of this team?
Mike, how are you excited? Tell me what you're excited about.
Mike, exactly. Tell me what you're really excited about, because no, I'm not excited about the future of the team.
Or Mike, here's the thing. Would you buy season tickets for next year? With the team we have, without Snell, if they bring back Chapman, would you buy season tickets? If you're excited, then tell us why you would buy season tickets, or maybe go to 10 games. You know, this team's not worth going 10 games.
Right. And Lou, before you say anything, Lou has great seats, but he's had them since they've come to San Francisco, and they're in the family, and he shares them with the family, and they're not giving those seats up because you lose those rights once you get them, and so you keep them. But I asked Lou this last night, would you buy tickets today if you didn't have those seats? He says, no way. I mean, Lou, I don't have to put words in your mouth. You could tell everybody.
No. I mean, my tickets, I have, in case you don't know, if you guys weren't here for the Squares, when Stuart won, they've been in my family. We've had tickets since the Giants moved out from New York. So we had tickets at when the Giants moved out.
You had them at the Polo Grounds too?
Polo Grounds, we had tickets. We had 2 back then. Then when they moved out here, the Giants didn't have a ballpark because Candlestick was being built. So they actually played Seal Stadium. So we had tickets at Seal Stadium, 2 tickets. Then when they moved to Candlestick, we had 4. And then when I was in high school, we had 7 in the family, 7 seats. And then once I went to college, since I went to all the games almost, went back to 4. And then in the new ballpark, at the same time when when the Raiders were doing seat licenses, the Giants did something different. They did a thing where you had to put money down for a seat license and you had rights for life. So our seats, and depending on where you were at the new ballpark, our seats were $7,500 for life. So we had to put $30,000 down for the 4 seats. And then of course you had to buy tickets on top of that.
Right.
So this year my tickets went up because you either have a 3, a 5, or a 7-year agreement with the Giants. And this year it was $46,000 for 4 seats for the year. 81 games times 4.
Right.
So, and it really depends on what game. But you got to remember the one thing about being a season ticket holder, and this is one of the things that Dan brought up, is you have to have your tickets in late September, early October for next year. And then what they do is they realize they don't have that many season ticket holders. They start doing these ads like in February and March, 501, like this weekend, Labor Day weekend, the Giants are offering $10 tickets, no pocket ad fees or anything.
Yeah, that's what Mark Graves,
Yeah.
he says the casuals will keep showing up when they are selling $10 tickets. Exactly. I mean, this is what I said today, Lou, on Twitter. I put out a tweet because, the result, this comes from a response from, I put out a little thumbnail that said serious about winning that we used at one point.
Yeah.
It says on here, ownership, Hobo, president of baseball operations. And then I put a link with Don Meredith, said, turn out the lights, the party.
Oh, there you go.
And I said, that's all I said. And I got a response from Marcus Tanner, who is part of the chat. I don't know if Marcus is in here tonight, but Marcus said, Dan, this team can't win a series against the Mariners, who are a mirror image of themselves. This can't continue into 25. Management, roster, philosophy have to drastically change, or I won't watch next season. We'll just watch NorCal Sports Network. So there you go. And I said to that response, I put out what I said. The result of watching the San Francisco Giants is that real baseball fans can't tolerate it any longer. But Giants owners don't seem to care because they have Mission Rock. Only solution is to boycott team until they put a serious contender, and that can only happen if they get rid of Farhan. This team is so damn good. And I'm telling you, it is.
And you guys will see, you got to remember, NFL dominates. College football dominates. Starting after next weekend, where the NFL starts, that ballpark will be empty. I know you guys keep saying, some people, oh, the Giants are getting 30,000. Those are all made up. Me and Dan had a talk the other night. These bleacher seats are the ones that are $10, and then there's schools there before they go to, I think what they do is they get the tickets that are $10. The Giants by themselves, maybe buy 1,000 of them. They give them to schools for free and all that, because they said when the White Sox game on that Wednesday, they had 28,602. There wasn't more than 15,000 there. This is a day game. And you'll see, guys, this homestand. I mean, why else, when it's the last weekend of vacation, would you have to offer $10 tickets? The Niners aren't playing. You have no competition. NFL hasn't started yet, and you got to offer $10? Enough said.
It's exactly, Lou. It's unbelievable. Well, you know what? It's Sunday night. We've had almost 200 in here watching between Twitter and YouTube. Guys, we will be back. I'm not sure what we'll do tomorrow night, if we're going to do a show or not. Giants have the day off.
Thank God.
I generally take the night off when they do, but you know, I may put something out there. Who knows? Maybe I'll get up.
Oh, you're muted, Dan.
Oh, am I muted? No. Can you hear me now?
Okay. Now we can hear you.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I can get a player, get an interview, do something.
Oh, what about next Thursday again? A little friendly reminder.
Hold on, I hit the wrong one here. I just hit the wrong button by mistake. Next Thursday night, guys. Next Thursday night, 7 p.m., former NFL head coach, former player, NFL player, will join us Thursday night live at 7 o'clock here on NorCal Sports Network. You're not going to want to miss it because it's going to be very entertaining, very interesting. We're going to hear some great stories about playing in a Super Bowl, coaching in a Super Bowl, and you'll enjoy it. You'll enjoy the interview. I promise. It's going to be good. And that'll be Thursday night. The Giants play early that morning at 11:10 in Milwaukee. We'll have our special guest, which I'll be announcing shortly in the next few days. But we'll have him on Thursday at 7. And then when we end that, we'll go to the Giants post-game show at 8 o'clock. So, Marcus Tanner, I'm here. Thanks for reading my tweet. All right, Marcus. Good to have you here. Guys, we appreciate you being here. We really do. We know you have choices. Hopefully we put out what we like to put out, really solid content. And, we put our necks out on the line, our credibility when we don't want to be negative, okay? But I'm not going to sit here and tell you that the ball's 2 feet inside and complain that it was a strike, that it was called a strike or wasn't called a strike. Look,
we're not on the Giants' payroll.
Yeah, I'm not on the Giants' payroll, guys. I don't have to kiss their butts, okay? Maybe I would be different. Maybe I would have to be different. And, if I was on the payroll and I had to, but thank goodness I'm not, and I can give you my honest assessment. I don't have to be the Homer beat writers like Pavlovich and Baggerly and Slusser and all those guys that give you what they, telling us that these guys are a playoff team and they're going to see this and we're going to see Matos and we're going to see Luciano. And no, we're not seeing any of these guys. So I told you from the beginning my thoughts. Sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes I'll be drastically wrong. But I'm still going to give you my opinion. That's what sports is about. I'm not Nostradamus, and I know exactly what's going to happen. But I'm gonna call it like I see it, and I hope you guys appreciate that. Some people accuse me of being negative and Debbie Downer. Asif came right in here tonight, firing shots right off. There he is, Asif. Okay, there he is as I speak. He says, "Okay, negative Nelly." I think he's joking. I think he's being sarcastic. Look, Asif, we're cool. I understand you guys are passionate about the Giants, and it upsets some of you when I tell you that I think they stink, or that, just let them lose and get rid of Farhan. But you know what? I'm going to give you my opinion because it's based on my opinion's coming from up here, not here. If I spoke from my heart all the time, man, I'd have the Giants winning 100+ games. Okay.
Like Robert.
Like Robert. Yeah. So, but I want to thank Lou. He's been coming in here like a champ 3 nights in a row. Yeah, Bub Rad. I love it. Thank you, Bub. Thank you, Bub. But yeah, guys, and believe me, it gets tiring at times for me too, just to keep beating the same dead horse, about Farhan. But I'm going to keep doing it until they get rid of him, because he's not good for the future of the San Francisco Giants. Farhan does not have the wherewithal to put together a championship team. Look, if he did, he would have made moves at the deadline. You were in position. You were last year #1 wild card team, and you did nothing but go out and sign AJ Pollock. This year,
for 3 days.
Yeah, and how did that work? This year, you say you're going for it, and you trade Soler and bring in Canna. Make it make sense. That's all.
Remember, everybody, hit the like button, and I'll tell you one thing that Dan is thinking of. If you remember, once they do fire Farhan, wait till you see the merchandise that Dan is going to have coming out for members only.
Yes.
It'll be a big party.
Yeah, we will have a party. So, Bub Rad, thanks. Appreciate that. He says Dan has been correct all year. Well, it's been a good year for predictions.
Bubba Rad, who's that? Your brother? I'm kidding.
It's my burner account, Lou.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on, I just got done typing it. All right, guys. Hey, tomorrow morning I will be on live at 10:30 with a new show. It's been running for 2 weeks. It's called Morning Game Plan. And we just come out and shoot and we talk sports, what's happening. It could be 49er talk. It could be Warriors. It could be the Giants. It could be something happening on the national scene, okay? So we'll try and talk about what's interesting. It's a short show, 15 to 30 minutes. Join that show at 10:30. Hit like and subscribe. And then keep your notifications bell on if you would. That notification bell will tell you when we're coming on next. And we may just come on maybe tomorrow night. I'm not sure if we will or not, but want to thank you guys for being a part of it. We do have the little banner I forgot to run tonight at the bottom of the screen. If you need any financial help, give me a call at 888-960-7233. And if you need a loan, call Los Flex Funding 925-250-4894. Guys, Los will be joining us back sometime in the middle of next week. He's been out of town. Lou may be with us. I think you're going to be going somewhere in a couple days, right?
I'll be here until Wednesday, and then I go down to Del Mar, the racetrack, for Labor Day weekend.
Del Mar, the racetrack, man. I should come over and meet you, because then you can maybe win me some money on some quarter horses.
Thoroughbreds, but yeah, that's okay.
Are there not the quarters?
No, thoroughbreds. That's Los Alamitos is the quarters. The Del Mar, beautiful women, margaritas.
I thought Del Mar had the quarter. I thought Del Mar had the quarter horse. No, that's right. It's Los Alamitos.
Yeah.
You're right. That's right. Okay. So Del Mar's in San Diego, right? Just above San Diego?
Yeah. In fact, the Padres are out because on next Friday night, I'm going to see Def Leppard, Journey, and Steve Miller there.
Oh, and they're playing Wednesday night, aren't they? Playing
Wednesday night here.
Wednesday night in San Francisco.
Plenty of tickets available. Giants are not selling that either.
And who are they playing?
Down to 6,000 for 20. I mean, it's ridiculous.
They're playing Wednesday night at Oracle.
At Oracle.
But no game, just the concert.
Just the concert. Yeah, and they're having trouble selling. They don't know. They were doing 2 for 1 tickets.
Really? I'd love to see Journey. Is Journey? You're going to see Journey too?
Yeah.
Is they still have the
the guy from the Philippines?
The lead singer. I love that guy from the Philippines.
He's all right. Arnell.
Yeah, I like him. He's passionate.
It's not Steve Perry, but he's okay.
He's not Steve Perry, no, but he's.
But nobody is.
But nobody is. I got to tell you one quick story before we get off.
Yeah.
High school, Concord Pavilion. Journey came. I was a senior in high school. 1980. I was able to get at the Concord Pavilion because I, lived there. It's where my high school graduation was held. I was able to get in line first, and I got front row seats, center stage. Steve Perry was standing over me.
Awesome.
singing, and you can actually a few times, some saliva shots that come flying out. But man, that was a concert.
Journey at one time was the biggest band in the world by far.
Yes. So, no, I don't know Steve Perry personally at all. No, but Mark Graves said he saw them Friday night. Def Leppard was fantastic. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, Def Leppard's still solid.
Very good, Def Leppard. All right. Well, guys, we're out. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 10:30, possibly tomorrow night around 8-ish. We'll see. But thanks for joining NorCal Sports Network. Hit that like and subscribe button. Tell your friends about us. And we will see you tomorrow. Have a good night, everybody.